if you're thinking of buying or selling a home, these are some statistics that you should definitely be paying attention to. In January of this year, foreclosure starts. That means people that went into foreclosure jumped 26%. People that finalized, meaning they got kicked out in January, increased 59%. In January, the lowest level of existing home sales since 2009. And what happened in 2008? Sales of previously owned homes just from December of last year to January of this year dropped 8.4%. What that means, if you're buying, the deals are getting better and they're going to continue to get better as time goes on. If you're selling, if you really want to move out of that property, you're going to have to discount. You're going to have to reduce prices. Um, when we get into the spring, I'm almost 100% confident there won't be a spring summer selling season this year. If that happens, watch what happens to prices.
The foreclosure rate is going insane, and a lot of people want to say, like I had a conversation with an agent this morning, hey, Leon, 2026 is going to be a great year for real estate. That's what they're projecting. I say real estate for who? Because it may be a great year for the investor. It may be a great year for some of the buyers. It may not be as good for some of the sellers. But January 2026 marked 40,000 foreclosures that came in through lenders, and that's way too frequent.
Foreclosures bloodbath deepens as banks seize 40,000 homes in just 1 month, and the pain is only beginning. 40,000 in 1 month. Let's see what Tom's got to say about this. With the number of Americans losing their homes to banks rising for an 11th straight month, it's clear the housing crisis is getting worse rather than better. U.S. foreclosure activity jumped again in January 2026 with a total of 40,534 properties facing foreclosure filings, a 32% increase from the same time last year. Foreclosure filing cover every stage of the process, from the moment a lender issued a legal warning to the point a home is formally seized after missed mortgage payments. While the total was slightly lower than December, January still marked the 11th straight month a rising year-over-year foreclosure activity, a clear sign the pressure is building, not easing. He said foreclosure starts. Foreclosure rising across the board, said Rob Barber, CEO of Adam. He said foreclosure starts when lenders formally begin the process of taking back a home, are up 26%, while completed repos have surged nearly 59%. Tom.
So I've been
So 26% increase when it comes to actual foreclosure notifications. 64% when it comes to completed foreclosures, houses taken back. That's insane. That's crazy. That I can only tie that to job loss, Amazons, the UPSs, some of these other ones. I can only tie it to that. So when I say it's going to be a great market, you got to keep in mind it's not for somebody to win, somebody's going to have to lose. You're going to have a bunch of people, and this is prime. And I tell people this is the time when if you want to learn real estate, you want to get in and you want to get involved, you want to start finding way to find deals for quick. I'm not talking about fix and flips, wholesales, things like that, learning how to wholesale. This is probably one of the best markets to beginning to get knowledge of wholesaling and creative real estate. But some people are really not going to navigate this. We're going to have a lot of blood in the water. Some people are really going to lose their houses, their homes, family wealth is going to go down. So when the wealthier are getting wealthier, this is how some of the poor are going to get poorer. Because you can't have two winners in this. Two people can't own a house, unless you're the bank and you own the security guard, the person that own that. But honestly, at the end of the day, the bank still owns the house, regardless of whatever you think.
talking about this year that this K-shaped economy we're in and what's happening with the consumer. When I talk about 1.26, we're almost at 1.3 trillion of credit card debt. That is stress on the consumer. That means he can't pay for other things. And when core things have not come back down, remember, inflation rate is now moderated. It's not rising anymore, but the prices from yesteryear are still very high in baskets of goods for the consumer. And so now the consumer is coming to the point, especially those, remember, this is repossessions of homes. This isn't renters. These are homeowners. Homeowners that can no longer pay the mortgage, and you look year over year, the foreclosures are up. Foreclosure is like the final late notice. Vinny, you're 30 days late. You're 60 days late. You're 90 days late. Vinny, we're officially in foreclosure. We're foreclosing. In other words, we're going to shut down your mortgage. Then what happens to repossession? The repossession is up almost 60%. Jeez. This is a sign of deep stress in the lowest, in the lower, and if you dive into these numbers, Pat, it's actually happening to the lower half of the middle class. And the lower half of the middle class are the wage earners that have less savings and less margin for error, less ability to get through a stress, and that's what's happening right now. You've got the lower half, Pat, is under deep stress, and remember, these are trailing stats. It takes, in some states, almost 6 months to complete a repo. So that means, Pat, these consumers have been under the stress for 6 months from miss 1, miss 2, miss 3, foreclosure, and then repo. The stress is building.
Any fixing it, Tommy? Like what can
you need patterns I want to see is what areas this is impacting. Is it because whenever you get numbers like this, you want to make sure you see where it is. Okay, so I just looked it up right now. Top 10 areas most affected by foreclosures. Okay, worst state is Delaware, 1,612 units.
Wow.
Second, by the way, who the hell would have thought Delaware? What is Delaware's population? If it's 1,612 units, and it's Delaware's population is what?
Hold it.
If it's 1,600,
let me park right here for a second. Look at this map. Look at that map. Let me blow that up some. Look at that map. This is the map with percentages based on foreclosures in the ranking. Home seized by banks 1 in 200, 2,430, 2430. Ranked number 5. Delaware. Georgia is ranked number 13. Damn. Well, actually, this is even worse. That's Alabama. Georgia's ranked number 4. Y'all hear Georgia? Ranked number 4. Texas is 14. South Carolina's 19. North Carolina 29. Florida's a hot spot also. California's at number 11, ranked number 11. Nevada number 2. Dude, this is not small. This is not small. These are some of the markets where we had a lot of acquisition, people buying deals, all these things done. These are also the markets, like you see, that have the highest level of foreclosures. That tells me that the people who bought it probably in a rush, because these are, I'm curious to find out how long they've been in the home on average in most of these foreclosures. I would bet that you're looking at a lot of data from acquisitions, people buying and making purchases around 2018, 2019, going past 2020. And that would actually make sense, right? Because that's when you were actually buying houses a lot more than what they were worth. 2020, we're closing deals. A listing on the market get 30,000 more than what it was before. That's a big part. That's a big thing.
Who the hell would have thought Delaware? What is Delaware's population? If it's 1,612 units, and it's Delaware's population is what? Where is Delaware in population? Period. 1 million.
This
people.
is like from.
So what is the state with the least amount of population? What is the state with the least amount of people
I thought
living
it was
there?
North Dakota.
Somewhere in the freezing.
Can you ask it?
Northern
State
Midwest.
with least amount of population.
Wherever it is, it's cold.
Montana.
But the point is,
Wyoming.
Been there, lived there.
go back to see who else is after Wyoming, Rob. Go a little bit lower, show more. Who's after Wyoming?
Right.
Vermont and Alaska.
Vermont.
Okay. Well, Delaware has
Basically,
to be
when
top
it's
5.
cold and north, nobody wants to be there.
But to be number 1
Yeah.
and you're one of the smallest states, that means this is Delaware.
Okay.
Then you got Nevada. So Delaware was 1 per 1,612 units. Nevada is 1 per 1,983 units. Florida's 1 per 2,000. Then it goes to South Carolina. Then it goes Maryland. And then, these are the ones that are most affected. metro area, like if we go specific metro, not state, Trenton, Jersey is number 1. Punta Gorda is Florida. Florida is number 2.
That's Jacksonville.
Fayette, Punta Gorda is
Let's
Florida.
go
Florida is
back.
number 2.
Let's go back one more too.
Fayette, like if we go specific metro, not state.
Let's blow this up one more time so you see this. This is a full map. So Florida's number 3. Look at Florida, number 3. Wow. Florida's number 3 on there. Wow. Dark blue, that's the top 5. So Georgia, number 4. Shoot, Georgia. Shoot. This is scary. This is really, really This is crazy. This is really crazy.
Trenton, Jersey is number 1. Punta Gorda is Florida. Florida is number 2.
That's Jacksonville.
Fayette, how do you pronounce it?
Fayetteville.
North Carolina is number 3. Then you got Lakeland, Florida, Vallejo, California. Areas least affected, okay? Dakota, Montana, North Dakota, Wisconsin, Kansas, Vermont's all the way at the top, very low foreclosures. West Virginia, Alaska, Rhode Island, Nebraska. So what this means is places that are being affected are, we're learning some of the states that are being affected by this. When California went through the whole NAGAM thing, remember what city and area everybody was talking about in California?
San Bernardino, where they built the excess homes and all the Nina loans.
Right, Riverside, 64% of homes were in foreclosure. Vinny, you would drive in Riverside, and all you would see is boards and houses. It was insane what happened. Looked like a desert. But we'll see what happened with this as it gets more focus in certain areas.
And that it will get more focused. And since we're starting the year, we're literally at the top, right? Top of funnel, top of the year, February. I say it and I'm gonna say it again. This is going to be a year I feel like it's gonna make the rich richer and the poor poorer. Yeah, there's gonna be a bunch of deals, and when I see agents screaming, yeah, there's gonna be deals in 2026, it's gonna be different. There's gonna be that's the economy of the transaction. The title people, attorneys, lenders, real estate agents, and brokers. That is not always for the homeowner. That's not always for the homeowner. And in some cases, I would say it may not even be for the buyer. Because just because a house is foreclosed on doesn't mean that it's something you need to acquire. It is going to make some buyers want to acquire some things way before their time.